Starting shooters here, Blue Collar Prepping. Last few weeks, you've been seeing me walk my way back from the local town here, about 17 miles, from what we determined was an EMP or electromagnetic pulse event. So nothing worked, technology, whatever. Apologize for the really short videos because in reality, technology was working, and it was very difficult to find a place for any amount of time where technology wasn't in the background. And actually, I think in a couple of videos, you can still see, like, hear an airplane or a truck going by miles and miles and miles away. It was very frustrating. I live in a fairly populated area of Michigan. So having said that, what do you think? Can you just kind of like, whatever, are you ready to go? There were some mistakes that I made and I planned it all out, and I'm going to address that here in a couple of weeks. Some remedies that I have. I'm, of course, always looking forward to your thoughts and what you thought and what you may or may not have done or questions you might have. A couple of quick evals. First, I didn't really show what was in my bag. This is a community emergency response team bag that I've had for a number of years. Great training through FEMA. If you have one in your area, it's a great idea to get that training. And in it, I had my emergency response stuff. Here's a SAM splint, space blanket, crescent wrench, emergency tool, things that I thought, on the walk home. Granted, it was a short walk, 17 miles or so. It took most of the night, well, all night, part of the day the next day. Goggles. I have an older two-person trauma kit, basically centered around gunshot wounds and those type of things. Flashlight, batteries, such on and so forth. I had all that stuff in other bags, but I wanted to take the backpack because this is the easiest way to transport all that stuff. As you probably recall, in numerous videos I've had in the past, I have quite a bit of gear in my vehicle, which is one of the reasons why I have the big vehicle that I do. But it could get consolidated and be a little more user-friendly, when I'm not mobile. I threw in a poncho. I had my work gloves, the obligatory duct tape. What else we got in there? Oh, some grease pen, whistle, gloves, mask, all the essentials. So it was just a quick run home. I left tools behind, this, that, and the other thing. And one of the things that happened, even though it wasn't the heat of the moment, it was kind of the heat of the moment, I left behind stuff that I could have possibly used. For example, my favorite accoutrement that I have is my hatchet. It wasn't stored with the rest of my stuff. It was under a seat where I thought it would be handy, and I totally forgot all about it. And this was probably the one most useful tools I would need in such a situation where technology didn't work. So, again, a couple weeks, we're going to talk about that. So if you got any ideas, suggestions, by all means, please let me know. One other thing that I didn't like, and I've been kind of struggling with this too if you've seen some of my other videos on my website or on my YouTube channel, Discerning Shootist, is that this is a fabulous firearm. It's really great. It's very robust. It's way more accurate than I can make it, or I could shoot it, mostly because the nature of the sights are kind of not really set up for this design. They really need to have a stock on it, and I'm exploring some options with that. But I have explored with what they commonly referred to as a SAS sling method, where I build tension with a sling. Well, that's okay, and I didn't really like it when I was shooting this gun, because it's actually too elastic. It really needs to be a non-elastic single point sling to be worthwhile. And again, that elasticity kind of was a pain, literally a pain in the butt, because as I'm walking, even though it's under the cover of my coat, it's bounce, 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 bounce. And this is adjusted as tight as I can get it. So I'm looking at a couple of options, and I'll report back later. I don't know if I'll do that here, but I'll probably certainly let you know about it in the future once I figure out what I'm going to do. And I do have some other mods set up for this, so by all means, please keep an eye out on my YouTube channel, The Discerning Shootist. And finally, it's strange enough, I can't find them, is that what do you do when your smart device takes a crap? You could store all that kind of information, your pocket reference guides, your maps, your E-Tracks, your Garmin's, whatever. But an EMP will wipe them out, or if they just die, their batteries. One of the things that I had going for me is that I knew where I lived, and I knew I could get there eventually. And I was prepared for the weather, regardless of what it was. I have cold weather gear in my car, which I've talked about numerous times in the past, and I'll readdress that here in the not too distant future. But, so how do I get home? Well, I head this way. I knew where my house was at. I knew how to get there quickly. I knew how to get there safely. And I knew how I could get there with the least amount of people bothering me or being discovered, if you will. And that's very, very important. And those are things that you only get from paying attention to your area, reconnoitering your area, maybe walking it yourself, and using a map. An actual honest to God, hey, it's printed on paper map, because they don't take batteries. Even one that's 10 or 15 years old, the railroad lines in this country haven't changed in a lot longer than that. So, lots of fun things to think about. This is Discerning Shootist. Thanks for your time. Be good. Be safe. If you can't be safe, please be good and dangerous.